Start
Yeah.
recording. Okay. So in the past class, I think so we have dealt with integrate, no, interface and inheritance also. Interface is something that like prototype what we have, we try to implement them. So one of the few examples we have here. Um, so this is a child class, and we had a parent class. The parent class we had simple methods we have written, but in a child class, of course, when you say implements, this is about inheritance. I think so. We're trying to use the properties for you know, we had a simple two definitions of method here, and then here we try to use it active and customer discount. So while doing some calculation, we were able to print some values. I think we're good there. So what my agenda was for a SOQL here. So we have tried some syntax and keywords, how a SOQL has been used. So this is a very fair, no, well-known thing. When you wanted to deal with a query records of a Salesforce, of course, what you do is you have to use SOQL. SSL is completely text-based search, and SOQL is something that based on the relationship whatever you have. So we search either a single object and there are related their objects. So let's get into this of more SOQL based things. So let's have some points here added. Queries this single object are their associated. So you're getting this point? So query is a single object or the related object. Basically, they hold the relationship with them. For example, um, account and contact. Account is a parent and contact could be child. It's not only about the parent to child, it can also be child to parent also. Select something. If you are in contact, so contact dot account dot name something that you can go. Just getting. So this is something that parent to child we say, where you go from account to contact, and this is from child to parent, whereby after child dot account dot name, I go from child to parent record. There's a child, and absolutely their parent record. I'm just querying here. So it could be one level above. So we can go up to 5 levels here. So this is a parent to child. From a parent to trying to just get the contact. But of course, in a single query, you can just go one level down. Yeah, up to 5 level. What do you mean by 5 level? If you see, let's say contact dot account dot owner dot and then username or email. So you are moving multiple objects here. Like say some custom object which has a connection to the contact. So that custom object dot contact dot account dot owner dot and their email ID. So something like that, you go from the child to the to parent using a dot operators here. So you just keep dot and then you move on to the parent records. If you want to get respective fields of the parent value. Okay, we'll get that. So firstly, getting an idea of what you're doing is all this if you see are they are holding a relationship. either from a child to parent or parent to child. Whatever they do, they are holding the relationship. So that is good to understand. So SOQL always deals with only with the relationship objects. Either a single object you do, select ID command name from account to do it, or specifically you deal with the parent to child or child to parent. Okay, let's see about the syntax. Of course, any SOQL program, right? So we need to have, so there are multiple ways of returning the SOQL query result. So what in my return the query result? Return type could be integer, integer, let's say record count something. Could be object specific. It could be a list of records. Could be a string. So these are the multiple ways of what do you say? A query can be framed. So let's see this. And the return value I'm saying about. Select always they should start with the square braces. Select count is a function we use it from account. So this will get me the whole bunch of the account, how many records you're holding it, and they are returning the in terms of numbers, and the number is assigned to integer. So this is a return type of integer. Now object specific. When I talk about object specific, let's say you're trying to do a count, acc is equal to, and you're saying select name from account. Something that object specific record you're querying it, where it is a singleton you say, so you have to query only one record. More than one it cannot accept. It says list has more than one records, but the return type has only one record. I mean, as a singleton cannot store multiple values. So it break down the system there. Next thing is list of record. This is also known thing. See, this return type is single record. This return type is list of records. Same thing, but we don't have limitations or anything. Now, when I say string, you can read all of them, and the last dot name if you do. So only the name value you're trying to print it out. So out of these, if you don't have this, do not have it. You just query a single account record, but I just wanted only the name from here. So dot name. If tomorrow you want ID, dot ID. That's all. The query from this query you're expecting only the ID, and that ID directly you want to store it here. So you need not to put into an account object. From there you wanted to process it again. So we are making it lazy here. So just name you want to do it. Okay. This entire thing would return a string type because name is a text type. So that name is sent here. So return the SOQL query result. So this was saying,
I have one question on the string.
yeah,
So if you're not doing dot name, if you only have select name from account, limit one, what will you get? Don't you get only name then?
no, this is assigned to an account object. See the
Oh,
return type
not
here.
that. The last one. The last one.
Yeah, I'm saying here that this is returning an account object. So that is what we specifically an object we are assigning there.
Not that. The fourth one in the string.
Yeah, the moment you put a dot, it extracts only the name and it is assigning
Okay.
directly string to you. So if you expect a jump cell, so you can get this. But if you say here, it will give not only the jump cell, it will give ID, and then it frames like this: account colon, and in the brace you have jump cell, and then maybe followed by ID. Here it says this way. Um,
But you're doing the select on name only, right? You're selecting only the name from account. I'm just saying that the query what we wrote is a select name from account.
Yeah.
So it's
Why
not
dot
select.
name is what her question is.
so I'm just explaining. So name is equal to jump cell. So let's assume this.
Hmm.
So the result would be in terms of when you do the this type. So now we have to extract the account dot name. You have to do it. Let's do this query. What happened?
Okay, yeah.
Account is equal to. So we assume that okay, this and see while doing this, this return type is entire object. I'm saying. So your LHS and RHS should match. You're just querying the account. Now let me do debug.
That's what I'm not getting. You're saying we're querying an account, but we are
Yeah,
querying only the
you
name
see.
from an account, I feel.
So like unless in SQL, whatever you do is just if you query only the name you get right. But in
Yeah.
Salesforce, we are assigning to an account object. See, it is
What
not
if
only the
it
name.
was string object?
As an
I mean,
object,
only
it,
string.
it, it can hold. See, if you go to object manager and then you see um, account, so you're trying to query an account fields. Select this account object you're trying to query. So it can have a bunch of 500 fields also, but you not added it. Look at the return type when we try to print this. See this.
Can you give it a string? What will happen? I just want to see if it is an error, what error we get.
I'll show you. I'll show you. This is this. The result of return it is how it is.
Got that part. The account object we have assigned.
But
Okay, I
if you
got
want to
that part.
extract only the SF training, then how do you get it? So you did a query, but you want
Mm.
only the name. That is what I was saying here. Okay, let me say that. This is an expectation. The query of this result is. Let me. Um, so we know this result would be. Let's write a result here only. Let's say some 30 records. This record count is 30. So this object specific record query result is written in this way. Okay. So one by one we'll go on.
Okay.
Okay.
1 second. I need to be back. 2 minutes. 1 second.
No problem.
So, Kant, the dot name, is that an object, or you're querying just the name from that account? So that's the reason you put dot name.
No, I'm just extracting only the name here. See, when I do this account object and I do this,
Yeah.
see,
So, sorry about that. I'm here.
yeah. So I'm just saying the difference.
Okay.
When you have an okay, not the object.
Okay. So it is totally different from SQL query. It is you're
Mm.
getting the whole
Yeah.
object if you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. So Murthy, so we just started here with the circle. So we're just saying about syntax and how do we do it. So SOQL program, whatever we do is we make a query based on the related objects only, which they hold a relationship. Either you do on single object, like a select account, or you do a relationship based objects like account to contact, where you say from account you're just getting the all the child level records. So one level below only you can go it on. And then again, from a child to parent one you want to go, you can go up to 5 levels. I was saying, like some custom object name, contact non contact name dot contact dot account dot owner dot their email ID. If you do, I think you can go to up to 5 levels. So basically, SOQL is deals with more of a relationship objects only. So like while doing So we have found the what are the best what are the ways a socket can return results to you. So you try to just get account, okay, they return integer. If you do an object specific, where let's say select name from account, so we get object specific record like this. But if you see that I wanted to find an individual component of this, let's say name I wanted to bring or ID wanted to bring, then so you can have a written type of string like this here. So when I do select name from account, so jumps at a question. So why this shouldn't return a name as a string? So why you wanted to put as an account here? You just acquired only one API name called as name. How this is different from this? This was the question you asked. I'm just like answering to her. So ID, this is an account object. Of course, the name from account you're saying. So the return type of this is an object. So return type of this is an object. So I will give you object records result only. And that object result would have all these things. Now if you say I want to have only the name, so then you have to specifically take add dot name, and then you have to have a string to deal with that. So maybe AC name you're assigning to this way. Where if you do this, just you are trying to do a two-level process. One is this, and you are trying to assign this to a string. Or you can directly use a string somewhere else. If account dot name something like double is equal to something value checking it. Of course you can use it. But if you think that I don't want it to have process all of this, I just want only the field directly I want to get it. Okay, directly the return type will be string here. So these two steps are not required. So to avoid this, we are just writing this way. Okay, now, so she had a question. Why don't you put as a string here? So all we told is about LHS is equal to RHS. Now your right hand side is providing me an account record, but your data type on the left hand side is something string. So let's see what happens. Illegal assignment from list of account to string. You getting? So though it is returning one record, we don't care. So leave about that. But it's basically it's trying to get an account and you're trying to assign to a string. So you're getting this. That's an error which we get. Let's put that also. So if I do this, so here I'll do. If I try something like this to get a string value, so this is a not right way to do it. Or we just simply get. So let's say if I do a dot name, so you're trying to get the name value here. You see this, the whole bunch, it returned me the name of that particular result which is given here. See, I'm just getting directly SF string. So this is basically the name of the account. So the result of this is this. So where your expectations was just to do a query, you have got the account object. But here you're simply trying to do it, you're trying to get a string here. So this account I put account call is equal to that's the reason you got this, or else even this is not required. Directly it would have printed the name of the whatever the string holds. So that value is printed here. Does it when you got the point, Gibson?
Yeah.
So what about the Tushar? Did you get?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a difference we see here is so dot something. make sure that the return type should be the same. If this you are trying to do, so let's say for example, you have number of employees you think, and that is a integer return type. Number of employees, that is integer return type. If you want to use that here, then if this is a type of integer, then your return type also should be an integer because you're returning the number of employees. That may not be a string, it could be an integer. So then you should have integer here. And you're getting something like total price. That is a currency. So if you're getting the currency value here, so then it should be double here. So today I'm doing with the name, so I'm putting a string here. So if you have different data types here, make sure the return type are very clear about. I mean the data type should be very clear about. If they are numbers, okay, have integer. If they're having currencies, have double here. If they're having a boolean, like say checkbox, so have a boolean here. So you should plan it well. So what is the data type that you have you are inquiring, and the return of that result would be the exact data type that should be on the left hand side. So your LHS and RHS should match, or else it will always keep a noise. Um, so we can't assign this value to there. Is getting okay. When you do a list of records, so you need not worry about anything. So it will give a bunch of records like this. So account one record will have this, comma account two record will have, and then goes on. So it's just like array of records will test. You will get it here. So where I don't put any limit here. Mm, I don't want any data type specific things want to get, but account that to list of account. Hmm. So if it true, let's say I don't write anything here. You see this? So the whole bunch of the account groups keep going on. Why? Because this is queried an array of records. You see this? Account record, account. So you just put a list. Simple difference is that you didn't have get a specific dot name something, but it just you got like this. Still it accepts. Now, if you wanted to have dot name here, yes, you can have, but it should be string here. It's not a one record; it's a list of strings. So you are trying to get each account name and putting it to string. Is there any questions here? This is continued because it has the list can so the debug log can only print a few things. Cannot print 30 records here. That's the reason it stopped here. Okay, so the ways of writing in a SQL braces. SOQL query using square braces we've seen. So SOQL query now is not the only one where we do with the square braces. We also do with the string based query. We say it is used in dynamic SQL. String based query is all used in dynamic SOQL. So why we say dynamic SOQL? We have to construct the query. So this we'll see in the later state of advanced class, but we'll see how a string could be applied as a SOQL query here. So you can have a single quotes and you can write select name from account. And you can put string query record. So this is absolutely string, right? I'm assigning this entire string to a query here. Till now we've seen about a square braces. String based queries also we can do it. So this is the one. Another one is string based. Of course, it is little bit like in single quotes. So the two things we can do a SOQL query. Um, data clean format of SQL uh, query using string. So now the return results, how to do it. So this is again returning a list of records, right? Select name from account would give me a bunch of records. So this I'm putting into a query like string here. So we have a method called as database dot query. So this database dot query is a method we have, and inside that you can pass string variables, whatever it is. So either you can pass like this only, select name, the whole thing that you can pass it here, whatever you have here, the whole thing you can pass it directly here. But what you do is we assign to acquire a string here and then we do it. Either way it is fine. So the return result of this is the list. The return of this is the list. So you can say that list of account. So this is more or less select name from account. You're assigning to a list directly here. But here you're trying to construct the query here and putting it a string, and that string you passed like query dot database dot query method you're passing this, and you're getting the results like this. So what do you call this as dynamic circle? We do it. Why we have to have this something if you say, I'll tell you in future state what we'll have is you can't give all the fields, no, always like name, comma, account number, comma. If you have 500 fields, I can't give comma, comma, and then your whole query would be this big. So it should construct dynamically. How do we do it? So using a field set and by constructing like a for loop. So we iterate over a for loop. So the fields would be added. Somewhere in the list you added the fields, drag and drop, and that you're extracting. Using a for loop, we're constructing the entire query, and that query later on given to the database query. So such framing a query can be done only with the string formats, or else it is very difficult to manage to give all the queries like say comma, comma, and so on. Then the SOQL query only will be such big queries, so it is not accepted. Maybe it is accepted, but to maintain them, it's very difficult. So for that, what to do is we use string-based queries like this. So let's do this and see what is the results that we're going to get. Okay, select name from it is written form. So do you guys see this? So the previous execution of the same record, which is getting a list of records, were written this way. So we're written this way. So that is also having the same results, and this is also having the same results. You guys getting? So database.query we have. So we have a couple of them. So when you come to dynamic circle, so database dot query, query locator. So we have multiple things. So this all when you wanted to do is when you create a batch class, we will get this. So this all comes to a dynamic circle approach. So we'll get into this when we go to the advanced class, because I have to tell you about when you how do you write a batch class. So maybe for constructing the queries, it will be useful. So I think this is what we did it. Database query, we have passed the string here, and the return results directly we can assign to an object. This object, if you know it is good enough. If you don't know, so then we have to use as subjects. Okay. Guys, did you hear about when I was talking about this data type as object? Guys, did you hear about data type called object? So where for an object I was trying to assign object x if you think. Okay, let's say whatever it is, and I'm assigning 99 in some value here. So this integer it can assign to this value object. So this is 90 is an integer, but I can assign to this object x. System.today is a date time is a date value. We can still assign to an object. Did we cover this? Where I say object can accept any data type which to it. In later on when you want to convert, you can have to typecast them. Is there?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Okay. Um, I think while opening up with explaining on the data types, I just give a thought. I think so. ID. Oh, look at this. This is an example I was saying. So you are holding an ID of the record. ID we say that is the string that you have to give it, and then that ID of the record is assigned into an object. So it can take any data type as an input. Okay. Later on, when you want to convert to back to the respective data type, so you say what are the obj and you're in the braces you're giving ID. That means it is typecasting object back to an ID and that ID you're assigning here, and then you're trying to display this. So this is a typecasting an object back to an ID or converting an object to an ID. So what basically I'm saying here is this object can take any input of this, any incoming data types. I'm implemented data types. It could be integer, boolean, double, date, the time functions, whatever it is. So it can accept anything. So when we use this, when we don't know about what is input incoming things which you're having it, so then better to use this. When you don't know what type of data type is coming in the value, so then the best thing is use to object. Where we use generally these objects and everything. Uh, if you have dealing with the JSON, so we don't know what the value has been getting in. Maybe sometime you get a string value, sometime boolean value they would have added a string value and then sort of sent. So this is all about crazy things for us. So but basically there we understand. We put it to assign it to object values. So that is something that we don't know what is the data type which is flowing in. Yes, of course we know that is a boolean, it's true or false, but that should be doesn't have any single quotes or double quotes included. If they have double quotes into it, they assume that they are string. So I mean it all depends on the development team. How do they pass the boolean such things like true or false? So they should pass without the double quotes if you say, okay, they are boolean. Absolutely. If they pass in a string, what to do? So we have to again typecast their background. But the whole logic is getting failed because of the data type something is missing. So for a safe side, assign that particular time to an object and later on when while you're seeing this, it's okay, this is getting in the string format. Okay, we can convert back to string format. So this can take any input as a data type which is flowing in of a primitive data I'm saying. The same way, so when it comes to the like you're doing a SOQL queries and we don't know what are the objects, the records that is flowing inside the Salesforce. Like how data type object we have object, so we also have called as S object. So this is Salesforce object. So here is the same thing. You don't know the incoming queried results, which is like account or a contact or something else. I don't know about it. So that time I should use S object. For a primitive using object, for a Salesforce object, you use S object. Let's say S object account is equal to, see this also get in a query of select name from account, and let's say limit 1. Of course, this account record would be stored in the ACK. So what I'm trying to say is, irrespective of the object which is flowing on the left hand side, in the RHS which is having account is returning it, but at the left hand side LHS you don't know what it is, then the best thing is to have a placeholder of a subject there. See, account. See, the account record it got queried. So now, the moment you got to know about the account object you acquired, so then let's say you wanted to typecast back to an account, we wanted to update something, if you think, yes, you can do it. So you need to have account in the front and then ACC here. So that's how you typecast it. So I've queried and assigned to a subject since I don't know what is the types or something I want to process with this records. So I've just queried with the subject, and later on the stage I'm typecasting back to the account record. So this is how the results would be. So at the very beginning, it was in the subject, and the next stage I've converted to an account record. So why you wanted to convert if you see? So with the help of this object, you cannot have a new operator. This is just like a placeholder. You can't make them to the next level. So you can never have this some ABC thing. You can never have this. See, I'm just doing. See, type cannot be constructed. That is the results it's going to give me. So this is always like a placeholder. You can't use them to insert a record or deal with anything. It's just like a typecast, or sorry, it's just like a placeholder. It holds a value for temporarily and assign back to respect to object whenever it is you know about it. Same way here also. The object which you are holding here, which is the object which you are holding here, it's again a placeholder. You cannot have a new operator for this. So when do you use new operator? When they wanted to insert new records, we have a new operators. Only then it makes sense. So I think for us in our scenario, so we are just absolutely we are trying to query them and then use it. So when to use, you don't know what type of data type is coming in. Okay, use object. You don't know what type of subject, standard object or a custom object is flowing in. Okay, use a subject. So any question, guys here? Okay. So why we got that point here is why we're talking about a dynamic query. So these guys will give you an example of a subject here. So sometimes you don't know what type of an object you're constructing it for dynamic things which is flowing in. So a subject is the best thing to use it. And even here they were using a list of subjects. You can again these uses where again you don't know about what record which is flowing in. So best thing is to use this. You can directly use account if you know this is an account. If you don't know, then use this way. See, so they are all trying to give select name from account where name is equal to all the dynamically they're passing it, but they are all passing in a single quotes. I told you right, database query you can directly pass string, or you can assign to a variable and you can pass the variable over there. So we'll talk about this in the future state. But this is how you do a dynamic SQL, SOQL, sorry. Now what have to be left with here? Syntax and keywords. If you just talk. I think for any SOQL queries, people who know how to write it, or SQL queries, no, they understand this. Just let's write this. Syntax, here the fields would go. Fields, from is a keyword. Yeah. Select is a keyword. From account is the object name that you have to specify here. And these are the conditions of filters. So what we can have here? So you can have classes here, like where class or a group by, order by. So you can have all these classes here, and then you can have filters applied here. Filters like based on uh, you're trying from, like say wildcard operator, like using like operators, or yeah, filters you can apply via through. I can say filters that which whatever that we are doing it in the between, so you can approach with operators. Filters are generally that whatever we are making it out. So we'll not specifically add a filter. Clause itself is makes a filter. So we say operators like and in like. So these are like say wildcard operators. This all indicates an operators overall. What else? And then you can have offsets. So you can say put limit keyword. So again, limit is a keyword. So looking at this, so fields could be all right. What is the keyword here? Keywords can be select from in the class wherever you see where, that's a keyword, and group by, order by. So these are, we know it's a basically the class, but still using these keywords of standard one, so they are all keywords. So now when I say from, okay, so the object name when I say, let's come from here and talk about fields. These are Salesforce API names of the field. So like example, so name, so account number. So if it is a custom field, what to do? So we write something like city underscore c. This is a custom field, I think. So whatever the underscore c you have, or the name, always the API fields would not have any spaces in between. Let's say account space number, like this you don't have, or a city space some location you don't have. So always we have this user name. So we don't have user space name. Always it is username. So like that. So these are all API names. API names are doesn't have any spaces, and they will end with custom field. They will end with underscore c. So those are comes under the field section. Now objects. Salesforce object, and this could be account, contact, or any custom objects. Let's say claim and underscore c. So these are the one. So we all call this as an object name. So we see keywords here. We see what is the fields here. We see object names here. Sometimes, of course, we can have a inner queries. Inner queries, or you call as sub queries. So this is how we say parent to child traverse. Yes, getting when you write inner or subqueries, you are trying to go from parent to child record. So this is basically called parent to child traverse or top to top down. It can be said as parent to child or top to bottom. So top down approach traverse. How do we read this? Let's do for. So we're just jumping a second. How to write an inner queries. So this is what I want to do. So any questions there in the keywords or something? So I can answer you.
No, good.
Okay. So whatever the syntax is right. Okay, we have this records. We are processing with single records, a bulk record. So all this depends on the return type that we're dealing here. So return type already I mentioned. So possibly this the syntax keywords. Let's put it to the front because after the syntax only we can write returning the SOQL results. So it's very important to have a syntax. And then based on this, we have written the query results. We know about the syntax. So then we're applying this logic. Select where you want to write, which keyword, which object name. I think we're good here. So query using square braces and this is all fine. This is also fine. And then of course I'm just getting into inner queries. So inner and subqueries are basically we call this section as a traverse section. How do you traverse the records from parent to child or child to parent or top down or bottom up approach, whatever you can call. So using a standard object, I'm going to do it first. Standard object. So what do you mean standard object? Which is like Salesforce out of box we're having it. Like say account to contact. This is a simple example you can have. You know that you're going from a parent to a child record to query all the child records. So first, how do you do this? So yes, of course, select name, comma, account number, and then you write a small comma here. So if you wanted to specify the next fields, you just keep always commas here. But if you want to do a subquery also, you have to do a comma and then you have to write a small braces inside. Again, you're trying to do a query here. So again, you're writing select last name from contact. So you should not give a singular here, you should give plurals because you're trying to get one or more records. For a stand object, this is enough. So you give an object name is ABC, and then the next plural from the asking next text box, you say plurals, ABCs for account, accounts for contact, contacts. So that plural form should be used here because you're trying to get a child record here. So we need to have a plural form here. Select name, comma, account number, and select last name from contacts um, from account object. You guys getting this? Name, account number, and this whole bunch is like a district has to be like a field. How do you extract? Because there isn't comma. So this is something that we're getting a top-down approach for a standard object. Top-down approach for standard object. And the standard object is like what you're dealing with is account and contact. So now let's do this thing. So list of account. Actually, you're querying an account, but inside the subqueries you have child of contacts. Let's see how do we process inside that record also we'll see it. So absolutely we know this is account list. So like any other normal query, you also written the same query, but what you have done is you written inside a subquery like this. Is getting this? So we have a subquery like this. So now let me do one thing. First, let's see the results outcomes. Mm, So I'm just doing a subquery here, and let's bring this. What results? Let's get. Let's see. See, whatever I do is I just should have got only the account. I don't have any contact records associated to it because look at this. You're printing only the account record. Why should we print the contact? Because you're simply saying account list. When you go with this and then you get into another for loop to get rid of the contacts, contact acclicks dot contacts you have to do it. Only then you will get it. Because each an account will have their respective child contacts. It's not only one. Each and every account will have their own respective child records. Now, do you say that okay, each record has a different child records? Who knows it? How many records we have? So you can come to this query editor and you can paste that query editor here. Select name, account number, and select name, last name accounts here. So now do an execute query. So look at this. So these are the accounts, and each account has this many contacts in the left hand side. Sorry, in the right hand side you can see because when you treat the name here, this is one field. Account number, this is one field, and the whole bunch it is copied. This has the another. It's like another field only. A display like in the column by how many records they have it. I mean, this is how you can query a child records. This is how you can query a child records. So name, account number, and then contacts. So whatever you do a subquery, always you should have a comma specified, just like an operator. Other fields you are mentioning the same way, but this is how you should end it. But you cannot have two things. You cannot have two subqueries. This is not possible. So let's do that also. Mm, Select name from opportunity. This also looks like one rel, but let's see. You see this opportunity? No, it is an opportunities. Yeah. So this also you can get it. Now what I'm trying to do is, what I'm trying to say is, as the same point which I mentioned, you can do one level below the where it is. One level below you can go. Like account to contact you're going, account to opportunity you're going, whatever it is, it's all one level. So you can't go to account related, opportunity related, and their child record you cannot go to. So of course, from account, I can go to case, I can go to contact, I can go to contract, I can go to opportunity. So these all are account child objects. These are our. So of course, one level I can easily go, but here I can have multiple um, SOQL list of having a subqueries. This is also possible using uh, one subquery, but only one level. Okay. So now we can do this. using two subqueries. So this indicates the two types of subqueries that are ready for opportunities. So same thing I've executed here. I could see results displaying in for contacts you have, for opportunities you have. Of course, account is the one we have, and their one levels are contacts, opportunities, and so on. So now what happens is select name from opportunities, right? So under the name, so you put a comma, you try to write something like this way because trying to write from account opportunity another level I wanted to try it out. So select name from select name from opportunity products. Tin relationship. Okay, let's see. Object manager. Opportunity product. Okay, basically the colors line items. Okay, no problem. SOQL statements cannot query and aggregate result functions more than one level away from the root entry object. So this is the error that you get while we try to deal with this. Errors out when you go more than one level of one level down to parent object. And the query is given this way. Any question, guys? Here? So we know account name, context reviews. We know select name from opportunity still it was working. Select name and select name from opportunity items. This is something that account, opportunity, and opportunity items you're going it. That's how we can go, right? We can't go via through a single object. So their object and their child object. So that's how we can go it. But this whole things, if you given separately, it would have worked. Select name from and this. This.
Is there a reason why it's restricted to that one level only?
One level below.
Why they restricted to one level only? Up.
It's not up. It's down. I mean, from child to child again, you're going down. So we don't know
No.
how many records you may pull it. So they will hit the circle query limit. So
Okay.
you are having a count and then opportunity is like say thousands record and each and every record is having let's say 10, 20,000. So when you bring back them, no. So we have a circle limit. How many records you can query? We have that limit.
Okay.
So if you have a debug log here in this, they would have told you here. Yeah, number of query rows. So 50,000 record that you can do a query maximum. I mean, the return results can have 50,000 records. So what if you're returning record results in more than 50,000? Account is fine. Let's say 2,000 we have, and each account has their individual opportunities. Each account, let's say we have 50-50 opportunities. So there only huge count came in. And again, opportunities respective their line product line terms. If you have 10 each, again it may cross behind this 50,000. So for that reason only Salesforce didn't give. Okay, so always like one level more than down, so it will easily hit the circle limit. So let's not have it. So one level is the better options we have. So do you get the point?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm, so I was saying this. Okay. Again, it's same like this. Select name from opportunity. So this is. Hmm. So if you want to do this, always you have to get it like one level like this. So name, opportunity name, and the respective opportunity items. So these many opportunities we have, and the right side you see are the line items. Line items nothing but a products. So each opportunity, their respective products listed is. So this is also another example, working example of one level below. Um, so when you say what we didn't want to do, the account to contact. So then their object to their child object like that we did. So this is another example we have. Um, so you can see another example, circle query. So this is from opportunity to opportunity items. See here, account to contact, if you're going and getting all the contact records, your opportunity and the respective opportunity items you're getting it. So that's the two difference we have. So far we're doing is top-down approach for a standard object. If you have a custom object, so then we have to deal them this way. So custom object. So let's write this. It's a very important point. For a standard object, we know it is very easy. So we put S and then we escape it off. But for a custom object, it's crazy. So we have to give them properly. Um, yeah. So let me check any custom objects we have so that we can easily query. Let me check the staff is connected with anyone else. Hmm. Okay, they have lookup account. So absolutely both are having, if both are custom objects, okay, that also can be easily some, no problem. So we have to worry about the child object, which is a custom object. Select name, comma. So here inside this also select name. So I don't know what name it is in staff objects. So staff is name, we have auto ID. So I think separately we should have a name field here, custom field. Yeah, there we go. So name is a custom field, they have it because the standard name which is having auto ID. So you can't understand what it is they are doing. Sorry, this is account name. So look at this. We have staff object. So what is the relationship of the staff object we have? You see for account is restaurants. Okay. So this is a field that we have to use it here. Select name from staff. You know what is the relationship field that we have is restaurant we have here. So let's see this restaurant what they have. See the staffs you have to use it. Child relationship name. This is very important, guys. So let's say you are dealing from staff and to an account object, a contact object, to any object you have it. Just come and see the child relationship name. So these names only we have to use it. I know in object also you'd be using the same name where you call for a plural form use staffs. Sometimes you are using a plural form here, and while creating a new relationship field, Let's say I'm just giving a name as called as restaurant, and I'm just making a lookup relationship for an account. So let's say this is how you do it. New lookup relationship. I say next. You choose a parent object called as an account. I say next. And now they're asking what is the name of that particular field should be. I say I give XYZ. And then I go on. So that time it says what is the relationship name that you wanted to build here. See here is a staffs one we have. I'm going to create this. Staffs one we have. Okay, fine. Because already if I use a staff here, which is already existing. Whereas in name of restaurant field, you already given a relationship put in the account and staff. So that's the reason it is saying you want a relationship name as staffs. Okay, go ahead. So relationship field name is important. I'll show what it is. I'm gonna save this next. So in the related list says staffs XYZ. Okay. So now let's query with the example what we're doing here. What is there? So always the plural form should be having here staffs and underscore R we should give it. Yes, I know it is a custom object. Staff is a custom object. I know. Chandrasekhar seed is, but we don't give that. You add a plural form for it. Staffs is a plural form which we have. From this object to account object already had a connection with the restaurant. I'm just following on this only. I just go to this object and I see in the relationship I have staffs. I should use this only. I know we can't give like this as a flat custom object. We should always give. If it is a subquery you're writing it under underscore R, you should write it. This is how the relationship field indicates. From a custom field, relationship indicates to an account. An account. And let's copy this. Somewhere only one record is got connected with this. Yes, of course, I'm getting all the bunch of accounts, but only one staff is being connected with. My done this column is being connected with this. To see this. So this is how a custom object relationship will be in a subquery. Of course, if you have this, even the parent object also custom object, if you think, okay. So then they are ABC and underscore C. That's all it is. So they are custom object under their child object is also custom. If you think this is how it will be. If they are other standard object, this is something like this they would be. Outside is fine. So you can query them rawly however it is an object name. But the child object should be framed like this. Should have a comma, then after that, and make sure the object that you're giving should have a plural form, and then they should end with an underscore R. Very important. So why and underscore R? It is used for custom object relationship reference. Why we don't use in the stand object? By default, stand object has the plural form, contacts, opportunities, something like that they have, we can use them. And of course, stand object doesn't have any object specific needs like under underscore something we don't have. This is all we have for a custom objects. Then even then we have to frame a custom relationship by using under underscore R. So that's the Salesforce wish. I think we queried this. Staffs under underscore I understand because in my restaurant field, I have created a relationship named as restaurant and then the relationship plural form was staffs. Now just now today which I created XYZ, it's again on a second field which I created. I don't know. So what that relationship will hold? Let's see. Go back to fields and relationship. I mean two fields having on the same object relationship. What, let's see what will be there. XYZ on account. This is staffs one. Hmm? This is a new field which we created, and this is again creating a relationship onto the object to account. So now you will get to know, are we using this generally in the build form, or are we using this? Always go to child relationship and see the name. Are we using this? Let's see. So staffs one, of course, this is a custom object. We should have an underscore r. So to get a relationship, this is only we'll have for a custom objects. Look at this. So we're gonna use always this child relationship name, and whatever the name has been given here, we are using it. And you're not wishing the staffs one. You are giving again something different name. Please make sure to use that only in order to query this record. At the last, you're gonna have underscore r. Why? Because this is itself is tend to say as a relationship fields framing between XYZ field tone and this respective object. XYZ field is holding on staff object, and then accounts is holding on to the different object. But who is making connections between these two guys is this particular field, staff's relationship. So that's the reason we are using that particular field here to query the subqueries. So what I'll say is, so created another relationship between account and staff, and now the um, relationship field values staff one. With the help of the same query, I was able to achieve this. So this is how it's very important. This relationship field value is very important. Any question, guys? Here,
Just sorry, I think confused with what is restaurant is doing here. I didn't understand.
that's the name of the field.
Okay.
See, this application of this particular whatever this org is, right? It's a McDonald's org.
Uh-huh.
So it's a McDonald's org. So in this, what we're trying to do is staffs are been always connected to an account. Account we don't say as an account here. In these applications, we say them as restaurants. Account we have types of account here. If you see business account, individual accounts, and restaurants we have.
Okay.
So these are the record types we can say. So for an account, the relationship when we frame, either we should have given simple as an account, but we given as a restaurants.
Okay.
That relationship name, I mean the API field name I've given as a restaurant. That's it.
Okay.
So like how I could have given XYZ, same I've given a restaurant sometime back. So why? Because other accounts are treated to a business guys and individual guys. Like we are all customers, but the entire org it is doing. So who are can be the business owners, or who are can be sharing an amount. If you are an individual users, you also contributing an amount in terms of a customer. If you are a business guy, let's say maybe Google or maybe Microsoft. So again, for your entire company, you want a snacks from McDonald's. So then you are a business customer for us because we're doing B2B there. So if it's B2C, it's only one customer I'm focusing where he's individually coming and purchasing something. And again, our restaurants also we want to manage. Yes, we are managing in accounts only because we have parent account, we have child account concept. So like that, we have a headquarters restaurant and then country-based restaurants. So again, that we are managing in accounts only. So that way we have these three options. So now I have a staff object. The staff object is connected to this account. How? Only staff can connect via through restaurants because staffs are working for restaurants. So they're not working for any business customers or individual. So that's the reason I created the field name as if you go to staff, you can see which restaurant this guy is connected with. So we need to have a relationship called as restaurant, and then account name is McDonald's Telangana. So this particular employee so works in McDonald's Telangana. And how do we relate this? Restaurant we related as a name. You got this?
Yeah.
Okay. Going to this field, we saw the relationship called as staffs. That was the first relationship. It named as staffs automatically. Now the second time when I given again, I wanted to make a relationship with XYZ, so automatically it renamed to staffs one. So it's not necessarily staffs one should be the relationship name. You can give whatever you want. So that also will do a trial. So I would change this field to the relationship field to something else. Let's see whether it is possible. Staffs one to I'm gonna give this also XYZ test. Okay, XYZ test. And we don't have any problem. Let's give a random value like this. XYZ test. So is it applicable? S to XYZ test. See, we're able to get it. So whatever the relationship name we give it here, so that is very important. So let me give it as just a staff there. So whether it accepts. See, so it matters with the relationship name it is, whatever you give it. So for a custom for a standard object, of course, all of them are having the yes as a relationship name. So contacts, opportunities, so all the pull from the ticket. For a custom object, whatever the relationship you're holding it, so it's left on to you. Whatever the value you want, you can keep them. We don't have any specific need for that to have a plural from here because I could do this. Possible to modify the relationship name. So I could query this way. So staffs one to something else I changed, and again I move to this. But you should not have the same name what is existing. Already staffs underscore was existing, so that's the reason it automatically renamed to one. So if I want to take off this S is not required or this one is not required, take off. Okay, staff is still fine. However, we wanted the relationship name to be unique. So with that, you can go area child records. So now do you have any questions? So till now we got from the parent to child. Now we'll go from child to parent. So this is a top-down approach we're saying. Now let's go bottom up approach. So in the bottom approach, what we do is we try to go from the child to parent. So let's say from contact, let's assume contact to account. How do we go? Let's see. So we have last name. Result generally in a contact window to try to query. Now you wanted to query their respective account. If I just give account ID, I'll get the ID. If I just want to get account dot, what's that? Name. So whoever is having contact, their respective account name we're trying to print it here. Look at this for each and every account, which every contact, their account name we are printing it. So essentially that we are trying to go from the contact to the respective parent record and see their name. So the simple way of doing it of one level above. So it's one level above. So select name, one level above. So we can have up to 5 levels above. Let's quickly see. Account dot name we have. So something like this: account dot owner dot username. Let's see, this is applicable. Hmm. So they're not showing here. Maybe if you do a query, they will be showing here. Account dot owner dot email. So this all has a value in it, but they're not showing here. Let's quickly uh, execute this and check. Select name, account owner, email from contact. Hmm. And then we simply display the system.debug.
Sorry, I got disconnected.
Understand? So what I'm trying to do is, so we're going from bottom up approach from, let's say, from a child object to the parent object. And this for approach of standard objects, what we do. So one level above from a contact object to account object is a simple query that we're doing it here. Select last name, comma, account dot name from contact. So from a contact, you're moving one level above to a account. So this is a simple query we have. Account dot name, account dot site, account dot website, account dot email, phone. So like that, you can keep getting all the account related fields, but you're staying in contact. So this is we say it as one level above we go. And the results for them in the past we show here. This is the one. This one, sorry. A simple query which I written. Account dot, see above you can see the query. Select name, last name, account name from contact. So for each and every contacts, the respective account names have been displayed here. Let's say. So this is one level above we seen. So I was doing one or more above level. So that time it was showing null records. I mean not null. The object on display. Too many relationship records if you get. So this query editors cannot display such results. So for that, I'm writing a simple SOQL query here, but putting the same SOQL query here. Select name, account dot owner dot email from contact. Let's try to print this. Oh, so that's the reason. List has more than one S object, okay? So why? Because you're getting a record and their child records are too many. There's no limit here, that's the reason. No problem. It's this. Last name is like this, and account is this. For a few things, we don't have email ID. Hmm. What is the account owner? Mhm. Let me go to the object account. See, for me, the best thing is, you go to the object manager. If you want to traverse one level above and see what are the maximum you can have. So from which object you're going, that is important. Go to the customer contact. Go to the fields and relationship. Not here. To the validation tools. You say new. You could see that level above example. Insert field. You can see you're in contact. You're going to account. You're going to owner. You're going to go for email. So this is account.owner.email. That is how we're just gonna get them and then query them here. This is how you identify. If they want account record type, you can get the record type name. You can get the contact owner. From a contact owner, you can get their email ID. So owner.email ID. So this again it indicates so that you're jumping from a contact respective owners. Sorry. So the owner's records information are not shown here, but ideally if you see the object means they are holding records here. Uh, Look at this contact last name. Check this owner ID is this. So did you see this owner ID has been printed everywhere? So what query we written here last name and this contact owner dot email you printed out. So this one we had. So that's the reason I'm just able to go to the owner. Who's the owner means you see is they are the users. For this particular contact. Where's that? So we don't have staffs here. For customer contacts, any contact let's open. The contact will have their owners. This is a contact, and the owner is this guy, and his owner ID is that. So if we give owner ID, so then this owner ID is this guy. So let's see this same ID, which when you copy here, it is working the same.
Yeah.
Look at this, because that is a guy who created all the records. So contacts owner ID is this guy. So like that, you can traverse from one object to another object via through this type of approach. So if you say that I don't know how do I traverse to one level above, then go to the respective object wherever you want to traverse. Go to the validation tool and check. So this is easy way to get their the values,
Okay.
account and then account owner and again from there you want to go to contact and then account ID something. So like this you can go on. So like this you can have up to 5 levels. So basically this guy's parent and this guy's parent we're going on. So this is a good way to understand the relationship, how many level you're going to go up, and up to 5 level, which I said is so more than that you do it, so it don't allow you to save a record here. The same way in the realistic program also 5 levels above you can't go it. It throws an exception. So this if applies for the contract, I mean standard object, yes, same thing can be applied for a custom object also. Let's say I'm on a staff object, you think, and I'm just going to navigate into an account. That's how I do it. So I'm a staff object. Let's come to staff object. Fields and relationship. Let's quickly do it here. So staff is the object name we have, and underscore C is the child object. From here, I should go to parent. So what my name on underscore C is a custom field they created. I don't know what my parent fields are indicating here. So how do I go with the parent fields? So what is the relationship field that you created here? A restaurant. Why through this only we can go. In order to go for the child records, go inside these and then you see the relationships. In order to go from a parent to child, you wanted this. In order to go from child to parent, so this is the field we have to use it. We don't say restaurant underscore C. So if you do that, only the ID will get it. See, only the ID would get it. Now, how do I go to the respective object record? So what you know, this is account record actually. So why it should only one record? Because only one record of that particular staff is mapped to an account. So there are you have so many accounts, but only one account got mapped to the staff. So that's the reason only one to open. So other records which are null, it didn't even display here, didn't even bring it here. So basically we can understand. Null records we generally eliminate. Only the value which holds the records we can bring them. So now for me, restaurant is nothing but an account. This is the field which is used for account. I want to print the account name. So you should use R here because it's a relationship, custom relationship field. R dot name. So that way we will print an account name here. You see this?
Okay.
So we know it's account. The field name relationship what you got is restaurant. The R dot name if you do, I can get the account name here. So this is absolutely account name. So in order to go from a custom object, this is how we are. So we use underscore R in terms of the relationship field you want to navigate to their parent records. Get it?
Right.
So contact account dot name, the same example here, staff, the field reference, whatever we created, that underscore R dot name. So both does the same thing. But this for one level with the standard object, this one level with the custom object. So this is we call bottom approach. Yes, from a child to parent. Okay.
Okay.
On tomorrow's sessions, I wanted to give on SOQL. We start good. SOQL query. What is that? So syntax and keywords were done. How to traverse child to parent, parent to child also done. Querying a single record and the related record also done. Parent to child, child to parent. That's all we have done. SOQL functions count already we used. So we'll use this a simple thing and we'll jump onto the SOSL. So SOQL functions are very important. And maybe in future state it will be useful to you guys. I think if you cover this, we are good with the SOQL chapter. And then we'll jump onto the SOSL. Basic functions I will do. I'll only spend 10 minutes tomorrow. And then SOSL I'll do. Then we'll write a few snippets and identify the bugs in real time and ask you out how to represent it and what is the fix that we can do straight away. So I think tomorrow SOSL and SOQL basic concepts would be done. My Saturday and Sunday, I think, so we'll be doing onto the triggers. Then
Okay.
from my Monday, so which is on 15th, so your daily savings will be starting from 7:30. So this would be advanced course starting to you guys.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So any questions you have, Murthy?
No, I think I'll try to play around this. I think with
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Good.
yeah, with my account, I'll have all this relationship, or I need to create those things. I need to create.
No, if you have a custom object, you can play with them. This is something that we have a staff and account. So you
Okay.
can create a custom XYZ object and then you can play with account object, whatever you can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay then. Thank you. Bye.